Let's go. Streaming data free on the MTN network in South Africa.
This is Omni Sports.
T's and C's apply.
All right, Kev, MAMPARA of the weekend.
Yeah, there are four candidates for this, but I've just come across a one on the outside. I'll start with them, but it's not the number one on the list. So, Argentina Football Club, Deportivo Riestra, have been accused of a lack of respect for football. They picked a YouTube and Instagram influencer to play last night. So this guy is, his name is Spreen. He's got 8 million subscribers on YouTube, 3 million on Instagram, 5 million on Instagram. No professional football experience, but he was named as a striker by the coach. He's 24 years old. He was subbed off after just 50 seconds in the game. That was it. And it was a disgrace to football. But they claimed, Deportivo Riestra claimed it was a stunt to push for their main sponsor, an energy drink company. And I can't see who the energy drink company is, but yeah, maybe it's Spreen. I don't know.
That's incredible.
Anyway, number one, we're starting with the Springbok-Scotland match. Christoph Ridley was the referee. Christoph Ridley's... he's got a bit of a history. He was born in Paris, 93, studied at the University of Gloucester, began refereeing professionally 2016. He's been quite regular in Champions League, Challenge Cup, URC, and he's had a couple of professional games or international matches. He's also had a run-in with Gary Neville. Gary Neville criticised the referee on TV, a rugby referee against the England game, and he said, how dare you, Gary? But he also has given some really iffy decisions. So in September this year, Argentina and South Africa, currently Argentina goes in a little bit high. Wasn't like that. There was mitigating circumstances. What happens? He and the TMO gets off, goes to the bunker, and I hate the word bunker. It sounds like they're hiding away in case a bomb goes off. And there should be a bomb thrown inside some of these bunkers. So currently Argentina gets a red card. Saturdays, Scott Cummings, Scotland lock. Innocuous, I thought, clean out of Franco Mostert. Franco Mostert was really going backwards, defending, his backpedaling. His knee did land awkwardly. I didn't think it was a yellow card. I thought it may have been a penalty at most. Somehow it gets upgraded to a red card between the TMO and Ridley. So he's number one candidate. But he's way behind some of the other guys. So number two, Steve Borthwick, you numbskull. He just is... He's taking a team that should be winning, that could be great, and trying to turn them into robots, trying to turn them into the way he played. And he was one of the most boring players in the history of games. So they've won just 4 of the 10 tests in 2024. That's Italy, the mighty Wales, who lost to Fiji. Yeah. Ireland, they beat Ireland, God knows how, and Japan. Oh, anybody could beat Japan. And they're playing Japan again, so maybe they'll make 5 out of 10 tests. And they're playing the Springboks this weekend. So they've got a 50% winning record. They've got a 41% winning record. But it's what he says, he talks about positives. It is a game where this is the loss against Australia. So they've lost 2 games in the last couple of minutes. It's a game we're in a position to win. There are multiple times we put ourselves in position to win, and we didn't win it. I mean, it's Captain Obvious.
Yeah, it's platitudes. Yeah.
And then he starts muttering in the press conference, "What is the decision-making process?" That's a question I'll be asking the players. Because they're trying to stick robotically to your game plan. You bring on George Ford, you move Marcus Smith to fullback, where he shouldn't be. He's one of the most exciting players. A lot of people don't like him. He spends a lot of time with his hair, and he's got the best hair flick and best comb through.
You know what his vibe is, Kev? Sorry, is Danny Cipriani. It's almost like some people in South Africa. We have a tremendous saying for this. You have to speak Afrikaans for this one. You call it a moermei gesig. And Marcus Smith and Danny Cipriani both have one because of that, like, I kind of love myself thing. And you know what? It would be okay if you're like maybe the 8th man, the fullback, the right wing. When you're the fly half, you can't be Cipriani. You almost need to be somebody who brings the team together, a Wilkinson, a Carter. You almost need that guy to be presidential, right? Your fly half can't be Carlos Spencer. There's a reason why that didn't work out. Yeah. He needs to be a unifier. And Marcus Smith, I think, kind of has that. I don't know if you'd agree on it.
I don't think he's that with the team. Cipriani could be quite divisive when it comes to teams. Yeah. I mean, there's that famous thing when he got knocked over by a bus when he was out on the piss in Newcastle, I think. He's got a checker history, but he was an extraordinary player.
He was.
I mean, I would have picked him. I love watching him play. But I think Marcus Smith is actually the answer at 10 for England. But what Borthwick is doing, not trusting him, is ridiculous. Number 3 is David Coote. I don't think I need to say anymore. I mean, he's just daft. Silly, but then it points to a greater flaw in his character and a greater worry that are there more referees doing this behind closed doors? Are there more referees talking about about managers, about players. I mean, how do they talk about soccer? Has there been any racism inherent or blatant or obvious towards people like Saka behind closed doors?
And naturally, people are going to go there. Like, you know, you don't want to ever be sort of premeditating a judgment of somebody. But naturally, if you've now gone xenophobic, right, German, see you next Tuesday, then you've spoken against the Scousers, and you're using, because you want to view that referee as professional and impartial. It's like, imagine if a judge was seen, you know, talking that way. That judge could never be trusted again, right? Your job is to be impartial. So, especially now that it's been seen, and then of course, the moral crusade on top of that, they're going to pile on top is, oh, he wasn't observing social distancing. Because I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the video, they make a bit of a mockery of the social distancing. They're sitting right next to each other on a couch, when clearly you should not have been in anyone's company, especially in the prison that was Britain, from what I've heard. Like there, they were really trying to keep people apart. And he was there just sitting with his mate, but getting pissed as well. I thought you weren't supposed to be drinking, or they may have been doing whatever they were doing. So he's in trouble. David Coote. So you reckon he's what, number 2? Hey,
number 3.
Number 3. Okay.
We've got 2 rugby, and we're going to end with Stephen Jones. He's a rugby writer for the Sunday Times and the Times. And he's,
so, to be clear, Stephen Jones, former Wales fly half, or
no,
the other Stephen
writer.
Jones who's a writer?
No, he's just a writer. He's got a moustache.
Yeah.
He's got a moustache. He's old. He's Welsh, and he's a dick. He does not like Rassie Erasmus, and he keeps using the word arrogant. He doesn't like the Springboks. He doesn't. And so today's story, I only found this morning when I opened up. I subscribed to the Times to read people like Michael Atherton, and not Stephen Jones. But it's time to outlaw South Africa's dangerous, arrogant bomb squad. So I don't know where he gets dangerous and arrogant, and who's it dangerous to? No, why is it dangerous? It's because Mostert replaced Archie Snyman. And this is a basic xenophobic line. He said, he's a massive Praetorian with a beard and a fashion once worn by the fur trackers.
Oh dear.
Where does that come from?
Yeah.
You know, the Mark Palmer wrote for the Times after the match, said it was an intimidating sight when all these arrivals were fresh and gleaming in their new Springbok jerseys, a contrast to the sweat-stained Scots who had already played more than half of a fierce game. It was an intimidating sight, wrote Mark Palmer. Of course, an intimidating sight, you dickhead.
Yeah.
It's Archie Snyman.
Yeah.
He's the Viking.
Exactly.
And he said, well, how come Eben Etzebeth could play the whole game? Because he's Eben Etzebeth and he can do what he wants.
Yes.
I just found a lot of this stuff vaguely racist. And then he cocks it up near the end. He goes, it was during the 2017 Rugby World Cup that the Springboks replacements were first called the Bomb Squad.
There was no World Cup in 2017.
It's 2019, Stephen. It really is time for you to shuffle off the model coil that is the Times and just go happily into retirement. Sit down, drink pints of ale with your mates. Pee on that picture you have of Rassie Erasmus just above your toilet seat. He's one of those guys. Like, he probably has got a picture of Rassie Erasmus on the back of the toilet seat. So every time he goes for a pee, he can pee on Rassie Erasmus. Hates Rassie. Hates him with a passion. So he wants to know about... He says, how come they've got 2 of the greatest hookers in the world, in Bongani and Mbonambi and in Malcolm Marx? So we developed these 2 great hookers and said, we said, which one of them should be like the best hooker in the world. They're both the best in the world. And we're playing to the laws of rugby. The Springboks are not cheating. And they didn't write the laws. World Rugby write the laws almost to stop us. They stopped when Damien Willemse did that, took a scrum from the free kick. God, World Rugby nearly took a crap in themselves. And then they changed that law. Then they changed the line-out law. Now they've changed the scrum law. They're tweaking and tweaking without fixing things. And stop tweaking. I mean, there's more... It's add-ons. It's like you get the beta version of a sport or a beta version of a program, and then somebody starts messing around with it, and they start adding on. So don't add on until you fixed it.
Well said, well said. If you are just joining us, it's a MAMPARA of the weekend, 4 incredibly strong contenders. On that last one, Scotland have a bench too.
Yeah.
The guys talking, everybody who complains about the bomb squad, it's like, you have a bench too. We're not stopping you from using your bench or developing athletes as well.
Yeah. It's
not like the Springboks. The Springboks don't get 10 subs. You get 23, we get 23. We'll see you on the battlefield. What are we doing here?
So Scotland did use their bench, and their big thing, Gregor Townsend was bragging afterwards about how great a performance it was in a 17-point loss. You lost. You lost by a lot.
But those are the standards. I mean, it's very strange to me that people are complaining where the playing field is actually uneven against, if anything, South Africa. You have the pounds. Just buy. You could buy any players around the world. I promise you, players will move there if you just offer them the kind of poundage you guys have there. The pound is so strong. You can buy anyone. We're not restricting you. Go to Boland and go and get the next Ashley Johnson and buy him and the next. Yeah. These guys are available. You have the option, especially in today's world, to buy them. But, you're just not good enough. Who's the winner for MAMPARA of the week?
Oh, it's got to be Stephen Jones. And I think he's going to be a regular contender during the rugby season, the way he's carrying on. Stephen Jones, without a doubt. You want to read the comments underneath. Some people agree, we got to stop all these substitutions, stop all these replacements. Another guy going, but that's how things get played.
Yeah.
And that's how we play. And it's not always 7-1. As somebody said, what is the 7-1 split? Explain it to me. He said, it's like when you go to your friend's house and he's got 7 bottles of brandy and 1 bottle of Coke, and he says, no, gaan ons braai. That's a South African split of 7-1.
I absolutely love that. Just to finish off on MAMPARA of the weekend, I think he might be a bit acid because Wales are the worst of all of the Northern Hemisphere teams. They're worse than Scotland. Remember when Scotland were the joke? And now Mr. Jones realises his Wales lost to Fiji.
So let's just talk about bomb squads when it comes to Scotland. Dylan Richardson on 61 minutes. Ron Sutherland on 61 minutes. Elliot Mills 65 minutes. Josh Bayliss 63 minutes. Jamie Ritchie 60 minutes. See, all these guys come on the 68 minutes and around about 60. That's a bomb squad. It's not a very good bomb squad. It's Le Boom squad.
Yeah, it's more like Firecracker squad.
Bomb squad.
All right, well, coming up next is Africa's greatest contributor to cycling. Let's call him that because this is a man who has been around iconic. He knows what iconic looks like at Tour de France. And as Mark Cavendish's career comes to an end, Gary Blem will join us next to discuss that great man's career.
Listen live and on demand.
Welcome to Omnisport.